Good afternoon, everybody, and welcome back to Saint-Jean-d'Angely for the 7th round of the FIA Motocross World Championship. This is the MXGP of France. My name is Paul Malin. Thanks for joining us today for our broadcast live from the circuit, as always. In a moment, MX2 Race 2 will be up, 30 minutes plus 2 laps. The first one was an absolute cracker. If you missed it, we will be showing the highlights in just a few moments, but just to give you an idea of where we are, Saint-Jean-d'Angely, about an hour and a half north of Bordeaux, maybe 4.5 hours south of France. We're on the west coast of the country, hovering around about 20 degrees, although it feels a little bit muggy outside, actually, a little bit humid, but it's still dry. We've got no threat of rain, and there are a lot of Jago Geerts supporters in here this weekend, traveling south from Belgium. But a great crowd, a great atmosphere, and what a fantastic first MX2 race to get us all fired up. This is the circuit, if you're looking at us for the first time, 1,620 meters long, and the first turn goes up and swings left through turn 2 before dropping down again. Everything on that side of the hill, that side of the map is uphill, as you can see. The riders on their sighting lap as we speak. But the fans are just sitting there waiting patiently for their second race. And if you did miss it earlier, here is what happened in race 1. The gate dropped, and it was Jorge Prado, about 15 gates over, who pulled the Vauxhall shot. He crossed the line just ahead of Michele Chervelin. He had Zach Pichon of France just underneath him as well. Jago Geerts was, at this point, was about 7th or 8th behind Thomas Kjær-Olsen. And the 225 at the top of the hill, he made a mistake. Brian Moreau crashed out of his home Grand Prix. It wouldn't be the first time the Frenchman would be picking his motorcycle up at this race. Adam Sterry on the Kawasaki was quickly into 3rd. Pichon was being pushed back to 4th. But then Jago Geerts, even before the end of the first lap, had moved into 3rd, while his teammate and the American Mitchell Harrison weren't out on the first lap. They would both have to work hard just to try and get back on terms as Tom Vial started to make moves. The 225 of Brian Moreau fell again. Meanwhile, Adam Sterry carved his way up the inside of the 959 of Maxime Renault, but making his way into 2nd. Jago Geerts made that move on Chervelin. Thomas Olsen eventually found his way past Adam Sterry to move into 5th. That was about lap 5 or 6, but then out of 6th place, Maxime Renault. Disappointment for the young Frenchman. He was riding fantastically well as well. The two F&H Kawasaki's battled. The 29 passed his teammate Adam Sterry to briefly get into 5th place, but then it all went wrong for him. Top of the hill, turn 3, he lost the front, got clobbered by Vial as he went through. Henry eventually came home in 8th place. Vial, though, a little bit wild and out of control, charged downhill past Chervelin to take 4th. 2 laps to go. The unthinkable. Jago Geerts had narrowed down a 3-second gap, went around the outside of Jorge Prado. Prado tried one last-ditch effort on the final lap into the final corner, but it would not work out for the Spaniard. And it was Jago Geerts who took his first ever race win in MX2 here in race 1. Well, a few moments ago, Lisa Leyland was down on the grid. She caught up with SM Action MC Migliori Yamaha's Maxime Renault, went out of 6th in race 1, and his teammate, Chervelin.
Welcome to the start of the second MX2 race of the day. Still 2 more races to go, which we're looking forward to. Now, I'd like to catch up with Italian rider Michele Chervelin. I don't know where to start, because it was you were top 5, weren't you? You were top 5 for most of that race. Clearly gelled well with the track, but a few laps before the end, things didn't go your way.
Yeah, his motocross is like this. It was a good race. I made a good start, amazing start, running 2nd, few laps, and after it was 5, and the last lap the brake have a problem, but it's like this. Now is a new moto, new chance, and we can try to make a good start again and make a good moto, finish a good moto, I hope.
Yeah. Well, fans are pretty crazy here. They're so passionate about the French guys. Vial, we saw Vial behind you, and we saw the crowds really react to that pass he made on you. How do you respond to that? How do you deal with that kind of pressure?
Yeah, I think I was one French guy behind me, because when I pass, I feel the old fan here, woo, woo, woo. But yeah, I try to stay in front, and after pass me, and I feel a lot of the fans. Yeah.
Well, have a great second race. Thanks, Michele. Okay, Maxime Renaux, another French guy I'd like to catch up with. Quite an eventful weekend so far for you, actually. Let's cast our mind back to qualifying. An incident there with Dylan Walsh. Tell us what happened from your side.
Yeah, I went on the back of Dylan, and I went outside to try to pass, and I got the speed to double my way through, and Dylan was inside, made one small bubble out of the line, and went on my line, but I was already in the air, so yeah, I land on his side and touched him. So yeah, it was quite brutal, you know, and also from my part, I was like, oh man, I don't want to race like that, you know, but I sent in a message. I'm happy he's all right, and yeah, I hope he's 100% today.
Absolutely, and of course, Maxime, it's a home GP for you. The first race, you clearly have a good feeling with this French track here. You are 6th, I think, but again, it didn't end well.
Yeah, it didn't end well because I start pretty good for one time. I start around 10th and then come back 6th. On the back of the 4th and 5th, so the pace was pretty good, and yeah, I got an incident with the bike, one engine problem, so I had to pit stop and see what happened. I tried to go back on the track, but the bike was not working, so yeah, I tried to go for it again in the second race, and to give to the crew, to the people what they want.
Enjoy the rest of your home GP. Thank you, Maxime. Okay, good luck there to Maxime and all the guys. It's time for MX2 race 2.
C'est surtout plus équitable. En fait, les conditions de démarrage sont exactement les mêmes pour tout le monde. Alors après, c'est la technique du pilote qui fait la différence, la capacité de la machine à trouver de la motricité tout de suite.
Here's the top 5 in the championship then, coming into race 2 in MX2. Jorge Prado is the leader, still, from Thomas Olsen, Henry Jacobi, but now Jago Geerts, with that win in race 1, is now 11 points off Jacobi in 3rd. Vial, not that far behind in 5th either. A great ride through the field, though, for Mitch Evans as well. He was outside of the top 20. He carved his way up to 7th by the time the checkered flag fell, and there were 1 or 2 notable performances as well. Darian Sanai from DRT Kawasaki, the American, finally looks to have got the other side of his Epstein-Barr virus, as he was able to battle right the way through to the end for a superb 10th place. Qualifying race on Saturday, this is how it finished. That's how the riders line up for the races today. Jorge Prado goes to the line first, ahead of Jago Geerts, Henry Jacobi, Mitch Evans, Tom Vial, Thomas Olsen, Michele Chervelin, Ben Watson, Brian Moreau, Maxime Renaux, Adam Sterry, the rest of the guys, as you can see. But 30 minutes plus 2 laps. We are about a minute and a half away from the gate drop here for the concluding part of MX2 Grand Prix, the 7th round of the FIM Motocross World Championship here in France. There is Jago Geerts, Monster Energy Khmer Yamaha, your winner from race 1. What will he be able to pull out of the bag here in race 2? Jorge Prado would have been dealt slight shock to the system after that that loss in race 1, sorry. But the fans on their feet. We're getting ready for the second race of the afternoon for MX2. There is Henry Jacobi. He's 3rd in the championship for F&H Racing Team. He just got himself into 5th when he fell, and eventually came home in 8th place. There's a 28, Tom Vial, his first ever French Grand Prix for the homeboy. Took 4th with about 3 or 4 laps to go when he made his way past the luckless Michele Chervelin, whose bike expired whilst he was in 5th on the final lap. We've got green flags at the back. Green flags down this end as well. Our FIM race director just bringing us under starters orders. The Fly Racing 15-second board up for the second time. Ben Watson goes to the inside, see if he can avoid any kind of first lap dramas. Remember, he was in a tussle with Mitchell Harrison on the Bud Racing Kawasaki. Race 2, MX2, about to get underway here. Saint-Jean d'Angely in France. A good jump from Watson over on the left-hand side. He's given himself half a chance here, but it is Jorge Prado who steals his way through the first turn once again. 9 foxhole shots now. His teammate just behind him. So Red Bull KTM's first and second. F&H Kawasaki in third place. Looks like it might be Sterry once again, 8-11. And then Jago Geerts goes around the outside. He is in fourth place. He can't afford Prado to get too far ahead, and Watson around the outside. So we've got 2 Khmer Yamahas, 2 Red Bull KTMs, 2 F&H Kawasaki's, but it's Prado who leads his teammate Vial. Sterry leads Geerts home in third. Varson is fifth, Watson sixth, Brian Moreau 7, Mitchell Evans in 8th, Zach Pichon 9, Henry Jacobi 10, David Pucci 11, Chervelin 12, Olsen 13, Kim Sebastian of Finland is 14, Jan Pancha in 15th place, Maxime Renault, Michael Sandner, Darian Sanai 18, Morgan Luciano and Vial down. Alvin Osland in 20th position, and there is Sanai just going past. Where is Mitchell Harrison? 32nd for him at the first split, so not another good start for the Bud Racing Kawasaki rider. But here is Jago Geerts. He is in, Ben Watson. And then Jacobi just behind him. Get the riders down the hill here, though. In fact, Sterry in third. Watson in second. His teammate in fourth. Jago Geerts, your winner from race 1, running up on the back of the Kawasaki here. Cuts to the inside, jumps his way into the wave section at the top of the hill. Mitch Evans there with a great start. Brian Moreau, the 225 on the Kawasaki now in the background. The first of those 2 Kawasaki's in the background. Tentative moments on the opening lap here. We've had a little bit of water on the track. It's hard and rocky, a clay base. And when you get wet mud and wet, Jago Geerts around the outside of Sterry. Sterry will take him wider and wider down the start straight, but Jago Geerts will cut to the inside. He might either try to cut back or go around the outside here in turn 2. But it's hard and slick. It's rocky. It's like a limestone chalk base here at Saint-Jean-d'Angely. A bit of a moment there for Jago Geerts. Got cross-rutted, went left instead of right. Almost lost that 4th position. But look at Jorge Prado. He is already over the line in a different postcode. Even at the end of the first lap, 3.5 seconds clear of Ben Watson on the Montrenji Khmer Yamaha. So Prado with a 1:55.7, setting the fastest lap on the opening lap here. Is his teammate and winner from race 1 going up behind the Kawasaki here, the number 811 of Adam Sterry of Wales in Great Britain. Cuts to the outside. He used this line effectively in race 1, but has to cut back across the ruts just to make it work. Alongside Sterry is Jago Geerts. He's going to have to go the long way round here. Oh, and Sterry, how did Sterry save that? Wow. I thought the 2 riders were going to come together in the air, but watch this here. He had to take evasive action, did Sterry. He landed short, bounced. Wow, he's there in 4th place, just in front of Mitchell Evans of Australia on that Honda 114 Motorsports team. French-based team, not a million miles away from here on the West Coast. And Evans, who fought heroically from outside the top 20 in race 1 to get back to 7th, is right where he needs to be at the start of MX2, race 2. But it's Prado who leads. Watson second. Geerts now third. Just going out of shot now. Sterry coming towards us in that white helmet, or the white peak on the side of the helmet. Then the Honda of Evans in 5th. Brian Moreau on the next Kawasaki just behind them in 6th place. Jacobi 7. Olsen was 8th, but looks like he may have disappeared. Let's have a look. No, he's still there. Top of the screen. Or is he? No, he has. He's gone missing because it's Pucci's. So David Pucci's, Team Diga Procross Husqvarna. There's Olsen at the bottom of the screen. So Olsen has lost about 5-6 positions. Here he is any moment now. Olsen up the inside of Michele Chervelin. Muscles his way down the inside of the Italian. So it's Prado, Watson, Geerts, Sterry, Evans. Brian Moreau is 6th. Henry Jacobi 7th. David Pucci is 8th. Vas Varson is 9th. In fact, Evans has just passed Sterry over on this side of the racetrack. So Evans up to 4th now. So a lot of moving and shaking going on in the early stages of this second MX2 race. Bas Barsen is in 9th, Zach Pichon is 10, Maxime Renault 11, Thomas Olsen 12, Michele Chervelin now in 13. Sterry's back past Evans, according to our timing. But here's Jorge Prado, 1:53.7 last time around. Starting to disappear, of course, if he wins this and Jago Geerts gets second. A tie of points goes down to a deciding factor of who got the best result between the two tiebreakers in race 2. And at the moment, it is Jorge Prado. He's got that gap out to about 5 seconds this time around, doing a couple of qualifying laps here. So Jorge Prado continues to lead then. Watson and Geerts, your top 3. Sterry and Evans are your top 5 with 24 minutes plus 2 to go. Jago Geerts, bottom of the hill, Monster Energy Khmer Yamaha. He is in 3rd position, going after his teammate here, Ben Watson. The Belgian looking a lot more comfortable on the hard pack conditions here, maybe, than his teammate. But there's nothing between them, and it's the fastest lap of the race, a 53.2 for Jago Geerts. He's got the gap down to 4.6 between himself and Prado. Are we going to see something similar to what we did in race 1? They seem to think so. Jago Geerts will be under the watchful eye of Prado. Every opportunity that the Spaniard will get to take a look across, he will see that all of a sudden Geerts is closing in. We'll worry about permutations and all the rest of it a little later on, but when we have to or if we need to. But you know what? It's almost one of those situations, isn't it? While Olsen on Pichon at the top of the hill, looking to go past the Frenchman. This will be for, well, where is the 101 on our timing screen? He seems to have disappeared, but he is definitely in there. The 101 being passed there by Olsen. So not showing on our transponders. But Olsen going after Maxime Renault, so that means that he's up there and around about 10th place. And nudges the young Frenchman aside. No time for sentiment for the Frenchman riding his home round as he continues to battle through the field. He arrived here 3 points down on Jorge Prado, the new championship leader, but that gap has gone out even more after race 1. So he's looking to try and limit that process. But we're looking at making our way towards the end of this 4th lap. There is Olsen. Pichon is in 10th place, just behind him. So Olsen, 9th. Looking to hit the line this time around. Jorge Prado and Ben Watson, 3.7 seconds apart. Geerts has lost time that time around. He's now 5 seconds down. But Evans and Sterry are closing in fast. As we cut back to Olsen on the Husqvarna in 10th place. Another fall for Tom Vialle, maybe just trying too hard on the Red Bull KTM. He fell on the opening lap. He was already down in 23rd position as he was trying to find his way through. And he goes down again. So 4th in race 1, a lot more difficult for him in race 2. He'll be urged to continue as Maxime Renault pulls another tear off on that SM Action MC Migliori Yamaha. Thomas Olsen, though, on a charge back after another poor start. The Rockstar Energy Husqvarna rider now in the 10th. He's looking to go after the Hitachi KTM UK rider, powered by, or fueled by Milwaukee, actually, of Bas Barsen. He is in 9th. Here's Watson. The gap between him and Prado at the end of lap 4 was 3.7 seconds, and it was 5 seconds between the leader and this guy here, Jago Geerts. Are we looking at a 3-second deficit right now? Possibly. I wonder if they'll give Geerts the board just to, sorry, Watson the board, just to let his teammate by and see if they get a good shot at trying to win a Grand Prix here this weekend. Watson won't like that, though, even though he's 6th in the championship. He's only, well, he's 20-odd points behind his teammate. But even still, every point counts, doesn't it? No team orders this stage of the season. Prado over the line now. Lap 5, a 1:53.8. What are the two Yamahas doing? The two teammates, second and third, 53.7, 53 or 53.9, 53.8. So very similar. That gap's still about 5 seconds between first and third. Jago Geerts. Yeah, Prado will jump downhill, maybe take a sneaky look across the left. He jumped down here a second ago, would have seen the Yamahas going uphill in the opposite direction. Mitch Evans is also in the 53s, and he's only about 4 seconds behind these guys on his Honda. Just out of sight there, a flash of red a moment ago. Adam Sterry in 5th. His teammate Jacoby is behind him in 6th. Brian Moreau 7th. Puches is 8th. 9 is Olsen now. He has found a way past Bas Varsen. And Maxime Renault is 11 ahead of Zach Pichon, Michele Chervlin, Jan Panzer, Alvin Osland, Kim Sebasti in 16. Darian Sanai is in 17. Morgan Leciado 18. Richard Sakina and Brent Van Donnick round out the top 20. Mitchell Harrison, who was 32nd around the first turn, has now got himself into 22nd place, and he's about 2 seconds off Brent Van Donnick, who is in the points in 20th position. So can he get some more points here this weekend? He was unlucky in the first race not to do so, having fallen on the opening lap in race 1. But once again, the two Monster Energy Khmer Yamahas charge downhill onto the start straight. Prado 5 seconds further up the track. That is the message. So they need to do their best to whittle it down, but looking at the sectors, Sector 1 that time around, a 16.4, fastest of the race for Prado. Half a second gained on Watson, and about 8/10 on Jago Geerts, actually. So I feel that this is going to go out to more than 5 seconds between first and third, because the gap is now 4.6 and 5.2. Geerts sets his fastest lap of the race. He's the second rider in shot here, rider 193, the two black Yamahas of Watson from Nottingham in England, central England and the East Midlands, and Jago Geerts from Barlen, about 15 minutes away from Lommel in Belgium. Hans Korversby, the team owner, and Marnik Mavorts, former rider and team manager for this squad, will be pleased to see both guys finally inside the top 3, but maybe secretly urging Geerts just to find a way through, just to see if he can close down the gap between him and Prado. There is Brian Moreau, 225, the 46 of Puches and the 19 of Olsen. So 7th, 8th and 9th here, top end of the circuit. The French rider for Bud Racing Kawasaki. Grew up just a few minutes from here. Used to come home from school and train here on a regular basis after school. The other two not so fortunate in that respect. Olsen from Denmark. David Puches from the Netherlands. But a much better race for Brian Moreau. He fell whilst in 4th on the opening lap down the first hill. Crashed twice more, one of them on the exit of this turn here, when he rejoined the race. Just behind them is Bas Varsen on the Hitachi KTM UK, fueled by Milwaukee. And he is in 10th place. 15th in race 1 for the Dutchman. Right, back markers on the horizon. Yeah, that gap is going out even more now between Prado and Watson. Oh, a slight bobble there for Watson. Doesn't get over the tabletop cleanly. His teammate goes around the outside. Might get the pass here. Oh, he's got to be careful. Watson will hear him. He might let him by at the top of the hill. Well, Jago Geerts, well, he doesn't let him by. He found his way past. They've got to be careful here. They need to keep it clean. Now he has clear track. Fantastic ride for Watson in the first 7 laps, though. But his teammate now has a chance to go and do a job, but it's Mitchell Evans in 4th place, just behind these guys who just set the fastest lap of the race, a 1:52.5, and he got to win 3 seconds of them. There he is, just in the background. So Watson needs to keep the old rear view mirrors on lockdown, because he's going to be seeing a whole lot of Australian charging down the hill and up the other side, if he's not careful, right onto the rear wheel of his Yamaha in a few moments' time. Sanai is now up into 15th place. He's just found his way past the Revo Husqvarna of Alvin Osland, but it's still Jorge Prado, but it's now Jago Geerts loses in second, and Geerts in third. Mitch Evans here, Honda 114 Motorsports, number 43 from Australia, 2 podiums so far this year in the FIM Motocross World Championship in this MX2 category. One at the first round, the other in last week in Portugal. This was the moment Jago Geerts eventually went around the outside of his teammate Watson to take over that second place. And here he is again, Jago Geerts. So David Puch is a lot of movement on our timing screen at the moment. So let's see what's going on here. Jacoby, top of the big downhill. He must have got a high side coming out of that corner for his bike to be facing that way. And you know what? He is close to that downhill as well. 5.03 seconds. Prado leads the Jago Geerts bike. Watson going with his teammate, and Evans going with them as well. Brian Moreau has been passed by Thomas Olsen. Olsen now up into 6th place. This is how he did it, penultimate corner. A helpless look from the Frenchman as the Rockstar Energy Husqvarna rider went through, and here is Olsen now in that 6th place. Mitchell Harrison is in the points. Here is Olsen, nudging aside a back marker. He's in that 6th position at the moment. He's got about 5 seconds to make up to Adam Sterry on the F&H Kawasaki. Charging downhill here. And Darian Sanai, number 57 here, Bike It DRT Kawasaki. He's just been pushed down to 15th place, actually. Alvin Osland on the Revo UK. Husqvarna has just passed him in the turquoise colours just at the top of the screen. So the Swede nudging aside the American. And Sanai was 10th in race 1. Evans on the attack. Ben Watson ahead of him. They almost came together there on that uphill double. This is for 3rd place. And you know what? Watch this here. They got very tight there. Final turn. But Watson, he's now got his hands full, but at the top of the hill, Jorge Prado has got that gap down to 4.4 seconds with 12 minutes plus 2 laps to go. Jorge Prado continues to lead on the Red Bull KTM. A 54.4 compared to a 53.8. So time is being clawed back by the Belgian, and winner from race 1. His teammate here, Ben Watson, 919, and the 43 Honda of Mitch Evans. They're duking it out over 3rd place. And as it stands right now, after 9 laps, Prado would win the Grand Prix on 47. 22 for his 2nd in race 1, and potentially 25 for race 2. Here's Mitchell Harrison. So the Bud Racing Kawasaki rider just flashing by a screen. Here he'll be in a moment, just behind Sanai. So the 2 Americans are going to be pretty close to each other. Sanai here is in 14th, 15th place. And just behind the 57 here is the 35 of Harrison. Just at the top of your screen there. Coming downhill now. So good to see Harrison here, and really starting to enjoy his time here in Europe. His team base not too far from here as well, so one of the few tracks that he would have ridden prior to racing here this weekend at Saint-Jean d'Angely. Didn't join the championship until round 4. Right, here's Jorge Prado. Dropping downhill, it was 4.4 seconds between him and Geerts. Geerts setting the fastest 3rd sector this time around. A 37.4 compared to a 38.1. He was quicker in sector 1 as well, a little bit slower in sector 2. Has the gap come down? Meanwhile, Watson still under attack. 3.3 the gap between 1st and 2nd. We are going to be in for another grand finale showdown here between Prado and Geerts. Meanwhile, Watson and Evans are going at it here for 3rd. Prado would win the Grand Prix on 47 if it stays like this. Geerts would be tied 47, but it would be the better result between those 2 in this 2nd race. Olsen would be 3rd on a 35, Evans on 32. So even if he found his way past the 9:19 of Watson here, the Australian would still not make the podium. He would lose out by a point. Just under 10 minutes to go here. MX2, race 2, 7th round of the FIM Motocross World Championship. We are at the MXGP of France at Saint-Jean d'Angely. Jago Kietz goes around the outside of the back marker. Michael Sandner. Uphill, keeping an eye on those split times again. Sector 1 for Prado, 17 seconds, 0.2, 16.8 for Jago Kietz. 25.1, 25.5. Lost 4/10 there to the Belgian. Fantastic crowd, fantastic atmosphere, as always here at Saint-Jean. But can this kid deny Prado a win here this weekend? So far, Prado had won every race out of the 5 out of the 6 rounds that he'd competed in. But it was Jorge Prado's first defeat of the campaign when he was passed with 2 laps to go by the guy who's chasing him down now, Jago Kietz. He is closing it down. Is that 3.3 seconds? Oh, we can't have the same again, can we? A 1:53.1, a 1:52.7. The gap is less than 3 seconds. It's game on with 8.5 to go. Top of the hill, Jorge Prado sees a back marker. The back marker runs wide. And it's Tom Vial. Vial in 29th place. Not what he wanted in the second race, not what he or the fans expected. It was a noisy old place in race 1 because he was charging his way through the field. Jago here just bouncing off of everything here. Watson still there in 3rd. He's got a little bit of distance, 1.5 seconds between himself and Mitch Evans in 4th. Adam Sterry is still 5th for F&H Kawasaki. Olsen 6th, but 2 seconds down, similar lap times. Varson is in 7th. Puig is now 8th. Brian Moreau 9th. Maxime Renault 10th. Chervelin, his teammate, is 11th. Pichon is 12th. Jan Pancher is in 13th place. And the 253 on the Yamaha Delta team Cresco entry. Sinai 14, Oslin 15, Harrison 16, Sakina Savasti, Jacobi and Leciado. All in for the last 6 minutes. That is the message to Jorge Prado. He has definitely been worked this weekend. Here he is, Jorge Prado, top of the hill. Jago Kietz. I mean, what a performance from him. But Prado just keeping him there, around about 2.5, 3 seconds or thereabouts. A mistake will decide this between these two. Not an easy place to stay consistent. It's hard, it's loose, a lot of loose rocks. The gap 2.8, only a 10th gained back there from the Belgian on the Spaniard. But the Red Bull KTM still leads here with 6.5 minutes plus 2 laps to go. I mean, it's a real coming-of-age performance for him, isn't it? For this guy here. Maxime Renault has found his way into 9th with a move on Brian Moreau, so Moreau now in 10th place. Oh, 6 minutes to go here. Just under 6 minutes plus 2 laps to go here. MX2 race 2. It's round 7 of the FIM Motocross World Championship, the MXGP of France here at Saint-Jean d'Angely. We are just about an hour and a half north of Bordeaux. We're on the west coast of the country. This is number 193, the Monster Energy Khmer Yamaha of Jago Kietz of Belgium. He was your winner in race 1. He didn't make the start in race 2, but since he's come from 4th to 2nd, he's managed to close down the gap to Jorge Prado, but Prado looks like he has just stepped it up a gear, and this gap surely will be bigger than the 2.8 seconds it was just about a lap ago. Prado will head downhill in a moment, 3 corners from the line here, and we'll see what it is when we hit the splits, the final split here. because Prado has set a personal best in Sector 3, the fastest split in Sector 2. And he's now definitely thrown the ball into Geert's court. A 1:52.7, his fastest lap of the race, a 53.3. All of a sudden, there is a 3.5 second clearance between first and second here, with 4.5 minutes plus 2 laps to go. Ben Watson is still in third, so the two Monster Energy Yamaha Khmer boys are... oh, and he goes down, he stuffs it into the berm. He picks it up, he keeps the engine going. His teammate doesn't get close enough, but that may have just decided the overall Grand Prix here. I said a moment ago, a mistake would decide the outcome of this round. And it's Jago Geerts, unfortunately, that just jabs the front into a deep berm, tips over, and now he's under pressure from his teammate and Mitch Evans. Watch this, he just comes in. The front there was crowning rock just underneath. He just lost the front. There was no dirt, rubber on wet rock. And it just tipped him over. But he was quick to pick it up and react. He just now has to focus and try and keep the points even between himself and Prado, or hope that Prado can maybe just have a slip up. He did make a couple of mistakes in race 1, did Prado. In the latter stages of the race, didn't look comfortable as he did in the early part of the moto. Thomas Olsen now up in the 5th place, by the way. He's just passed Adam Sterry, which is important for the championship, of course, because Prado will be on 297. I think Olsen will probably move to about 284. Here is Olsen. You see the white amongst the dark patches there. That is just sheet rock, limestone, if you like. Lots of roost coming up off the rear wheels of these bikes, 450s even more so. 14 laps, Prado over the line, a 53.5. Geerts now 8.6 seconds behind because of his little tip over on lap 14. But this guy needs to get out of the starts and run with those guys, because he's doing all the hard work from the back. Olsen over the line then for Rockstar Energy. Husqvarna lands a little bit long on the finish line jump. In that 5th place, Mitch Evans, 11 seconds further up the track, but he's not going to have time to do anything about it. In fact, there's Evans, top left, just below the Guyoni sign. But, again, another kind of one of those performances, 2 of those performances actually for Olsen, 3 if you count the qualifying race. Coming from a long way back, having to pick up the points the hard way. There was Adam Sterry just a moment ago, the F&H Kawasaki in 6th. Larson is about 4 seconds behind him for Hitachi KTM UK, fueled by Milwaukee. Then Puchis in 8th on the Team Diga Procross Husqvarna. 9th is Maxim Renault for Yamaha SM Action MC Migliori. And 10th, the Bud Racing Kawasaki of Brian Moreau. Here's Jorge Prado. He would have had a look at the pit board a moment ago, and it would have said something around the 8 or 9 seconds, the gap between him and Jago Geerts. So he responds well to defeat in race 1, Jorge Prado. It's going to be 3 laps to go. Here is Jago Geerts. Gap was 8.6 last time. He won't give up. He'll keep fighting. Check the line when he comes back. 7.9. So 54.5, 53.9. Pulls back 6/10. He knows, you see, if you keep pushing and Prado, let's say, makes a similar mistake, tips over in a corner, he's going to be back to about 3 seconds again. 2 or 3 seconds, and then the pressure will be really on the final laps. So 2.5 laps to go. Watson was 12th in race 1, 3rd in race 2. He's going to be 6th overall. There's Chervelin going through. Maxime Renault, sorry. Brian Moreau, Chervelin now going through. Here's Jago Geerts. So the Monster Energy Khmer Yamaha out on his own in second, continuing to push on. Thing is, when you're dealing with somebody like Jorge Prado, who has taken 9 Fox hole shots this year, there's only 5 races where he hasn't taken a hole shot so far in 2019. Doing all the hard work, does a couple of qualifying laps, bangs out a 5-second advantage, and all of a sudden, anybody who is a threat to chasing down the lead is on the back foot. They have to ride over themselves. It worked for Jago Geerts in race 1, but just caught a little bit of rock, and that was enough just to make the difference. 2-lap board about to go out. There's Prado heading uphill. Gap is still coming down, though. A 1:56.3. Jorge Prado backing it right off. Harry Geerts is going to be in the 52s, 53s are 54. 6.3 seconds with 2 to go. He can't afford to switch off, you know, the Spaniard. The Red Bull KTM here, number 61, took over the championship lead a week ago in Portugal. Came here with a 3-point advantage. Of course, he'll extend that over Thomas Olsen. He was the winner here when we came here last year. But he's in amongst the back markers now. Keep an eye on the sectors. Pretty much even through sector 1, almost to the 100th of a second. Sector 2 at the bottom of the hill here. 26.4 for Prado. 25.8 for Geerts. It's coming down. And it's interesting, had he not made the mistake, would he still be making those kind of gains, and would he be all over the back of the KTM at this stage in the race, applying the pressure just like he did in race 1? Difficult to know. If, buts, maybes, shoulda, coulda, wouldas, and all the rest of it. But here's Prado. Just over a lap to go now for the Spaniard. Exits turn 2, doubles his way in, takes a nervous look, or maybe just a cautionary look over his shoulder to see exactly where Prado is. Those splits are continuing to fall. 26.4, 25.8, 39.3, 38.3, a full second pull back. And here he is, this rider coming up towards us now. This is Watson. This is Watson. So the gap is going to be about 3 seconds going into the final lap, because Jago Geerts already over the line. 3.6. That's his teammate in third. He is just going to run out of time, isn't he? Prado will look across to his left, and he'll see the Yamaha moving up towards the top of the hill, nudges aside the back marker, Loris Friedrichs on the IXS Yamaha. STC IXS Yamaha. Nothing in it, look, he has worked hard to claw it back. And Prado is just the other side of the hill. He can't do it twice, can he? Not surely, not on the final lap. Again, the adrenaline is pumping through his veins. Prado is coasting downhill. Can he afford to? Doesn't look over his shoulder, doesn't see the Yamaha of Geerts. As it stands right now, Prado will win the overall Grand Prix, his 6th of the season. And here he is in the waves, the rider in the background. Not this one, but the one behind him is Jago Geerts. He'll go to the inside maybe, yes he will. He has put in an absolutely splendid performance. Again, turning the hard pack into a strength here. But that's first and second coming down the start straight into turn 1. But it is going to be Jorge Prado who will, or should, cross the line from here on out. Barring any little mistakes, all it takes is a little rock under the wheel just to, in a turn, as we saw with Jago Geerts on a piece of sheet rock. But this time, Jorge Prado keeps everything in check. He does enter the final turn. He goes wide, he takes the security of the bank to the outside. He wins race 2, and this time he takes the overall again here in France. What a finish, though. 2.5 seconds in the end between Prado and Geerts. Watson, fantastic for him in third. Overlooked, really, because he put in a lot of effort, a massive improvement on race 2. He'll be pleased with that, though. Hard pack. Guess what? We're going to Russia in 2 weeks' time, and that's where Ben Watson got on the podium. Here's Thomas Olsen. He goes over the line in 5th place behind Mitch Evans. The podium here this weekend then is going to be Jorge Prado, Jago Geerts, and Thomas Kjær Olsen there in 3rd. Mitch Evans and Adam Sterry will round out the top 5. But the winner in race 2, Jorge Prado, he wins the overall Grand Prix from Jago Geerts and Ben Watson coming home 3rd in race 2. Jorge Prado making his way down to the winner's zone just to speak to Lisa Leyland. We'll catch his thoughts in just a few moments. But a fantastic ride for Jago Geerts and Ben Watson. Of course, the Monster Energy Khmer Yamaha teammates. But some absolutely fantastic action here today in France. Prado, your overall winner with a 2-1. Second overall, Jago Geerts with a 1-2. Third overall, Thomas Kjær Olsen. And anyway, here is your overall winner with Lisa.
Jorge Prado, congratulations. Another overall victory, but you really had to work hard this weekend.
Yeah, first moto got a good start first, and then 2 laps to go, messed it up in the corner of the finish line. So I attacked last lap, but I couldn't get that first moto. And second moto, I really wanted to get it done. Got a good start, and then Jago was there still all moto, but last laps I kind of pushed a bit extra, get good lap times, and then pull a bit away. I think he made a mistake, and yeah, happy with it. Let's keep training and get better for the next one.
Congratulations.
Red Bull KTM's Jorge Prado bounces back from that race 1 disappointment of second to nail down a victory in race 2, which is enough for him to take his 6th Grand Prix win of the season. He's only undefeated in 1 race now, but every Grand Prix he's entered this year, he has taken the win. Extends his points lead as well over Thomas Olsen, but Jago Geerts now moves up to 3rd in the championship, which is good for the Belgian. Official confirmation then, Jorge Prado, your winner from race 2. Jago Geerts 2nd, Ben Watson, the teammate 3rd, Mitch Evans 4th, Thomas Olsen 5th, Adam Sterry, Bas Vos and David Puches, your top 8. 9th for Maxime Renault, and Brian Moreau was 10. Michele Chervelin 11, Jan Pancher 12, Darren Sanai 13, 2 Americans 13th and 14th, with Mitchell Harrison just behind Sanai. Pichon, Sakina, Jacobi, Austin Lasiado and Sebasti, your point scorers in race 2. The overall classification for the MX2 Grand Prix of France here at Saint-Jean-d'Angely, round 7. Jorge Prado and Jago Geerts take a share of the points, but it's Prado's win in race 2 that decides it. Olsen 3rd, Evans 4th, Sterry and Watson, and then Puches and Varson. 9th for Sanai, his best result this year. Vial, 10th overall at his home Grand Prix. And then we had Jacobi, Pichon, Renault, Boirame, and a little bit further back, picking up some points here this weekend, Mitchell Harrison. But championship now looks like this: 297 to Prado, who extends his lead over Olsen, and Jago Geerts now moves ahead of Henry Jacobi to 3rd and puts 7 points between himself and the German. He was 23 points behind Henry Jacobi coming into this weekend, so a good day's work for Jago Geerts. KTM lead the manufacturer's chase ahead of Husqvarna. Yamaha are there in 3rd, and then it's Honda and Kawasaki. Let's take a look at the Foxhole shot, shall we? Right at the start of the race, once again, it's a tight one between Jorge Prado and Adam Sterry. But it was Jorge Prado who got the nod, so 9 now for the Red Bull KTM rider. Only 3 riders have scored whole shots this year. Prado has 9. Tom Vial, his teammate, has 4. Roman and Mostar Kawasaki have 1, but 13 whole shots going to KTM, Red Bull KTM riders as well, so far, out of the 14 motos. We're getting ready for the podium then. And third overall this weekend. He's only missed the podium once this year, and that was round 4 at Trentino in Italy. But the Rockstar Energy Husqvarna of Thomas Kjær Olsen, a 3rd and a 5th for the big tall Dane. He has had to work his absolute socks off to get those points and that podium place as well this weekend. 2nd overall, Jago Kietz, Monster Energy Khmer Yamaha, a winner in race 1, the only rider so far this year to defeat Jorge Prado when it comes to races for points. But he's 2nd overall. And that's his 3rd podium as well. But Jorge Prado, a 2nd and a 1st, the Red Bull KTM rider on the top step again. We've had 7 rounds so far. Prado has won 6 of them. He didn't compete round 2 at Great Britain, Matterley Basin, because he had a shoulder injury. So he's just dropped 3 points in the races that he's entered so far. Trophy time for our top 3. And France always get a load of dignitaries and a lot of fantastic support locally as well. 3rd place trophy going to Thomas Kjær Olsen, Stéphane Pelloux. 2nd place trophy to Jago Kietz. Monster Energy Khmer Yamaha, Patrick Berthaud, the FFM treasurer, so the treasurer for the French Motorcycling Federation. And to the overall winner, the biggest trophy of all, to Jorge Prado, Red Bull KTM Factory Racing, and Jean-Pierre Muguin, CNOSF Vice President. Team trophy goes to Red Bull KTM, of course. Prado picking up another win for that Red Bull KTM team, Decali Racing. So David Decali will gladly take that on behalf of the squad. But the red plate still belongs for the 2nd week in a row to Jorge Prado, Red Bull KTM Factory Racing. Antonio Alia Patella, FIM CMS Director, on hand to deliver the red plate to Mr. Prado. But that's your top 3 here this weekend. Just the national anthem now for Jorge Prado and Spain. Jorge Prado stands proud on the top step of the podium here, round 7 of the FIM Motocross World Championship, the MXGP of France, flanked by Jago Kietz and Thomas Kjær Olsen. We'll talk to the top 3 after these best moments.
Jorge Prado, congratulations. I guess a different weekend to what you're used to. Didn't really see yourself in that first race, but you responded well to defeat in that second moto, really stepped it up. Just tell us what it was like from your seat.
Yeah, it was a hard weekend. We had to push a lot in both motos, but you know, we finally got it done. That's the most important points for the championship as well. So I'm feeling good, feeling strong. So let's train and get better for the next one.
Great job, thanks, Jorge. Second overall today, we have Jago Hertz. Jago, a weekend that you're going to remember. One of the only riders that actually got the better of Jorge Prado. You also got your first race win as well. Bittersweet, because that little mistake on the second race there, I guess, could have cost you the overall. I don't know if we'd ever know.
Yeah, the first heat was really good. Took a okay start and then moved myself up to the lead, and I was really happy with that. I won the race, so wanted to do the same in the second heat, but had a little crash while I was in second. So yeah, but that's motocross, and now I'm focusing on the next round.
Good job, thanks, Jago. Third overall today, we have Thomas Kjær-Olsen. Thomas, another podium for you. Good points in the bag, but I guess your starts just let you down again.
Yeah, so it's becoming a big problem for me. I know I have good speed, and but when all that is said, like, I'm happy to be on the podium here. I know this was kind of a tough track for me, and I really had to focus here to be on the podium. So I'm happy about that. But yeah, I did a lot of battling the past week, so hopefully I can adjust the mistakes and be up front.
Thank you.
Yeah, disappointed Thomas Kjær-Olsen with his third place. It is, well, he's had a almost 100% record in podiums this year, including a win at Matchley Base in round 2. He didn't make the box in round 4, but a 3-5 scorecard this weekend gets the Rockstar Energy Husqvarna rider third overall here in France. But a fantastic ride and maybe a breakthrough performance for Jago Hertz on the Monster Energy Kamei Yamaha. A win in race 1, a second in race 2, the only rider to defeat Jorge Prado when it came to points, but it was second overall in the end for the Belgian. Jorge Prado, though, Red Bull KTM, continues in his quest as a two-time world champion, potentially. He has won every Grand Prix, 5 in a row now, 6 if you count round 1 in Argentina. It's looking good for Jorge Prado as we head to Russia, round 8. So